In this video, I am going to teach you how to create a mood board. Now, a mood board is basically just color palettes that you put with an image, typically with a photograph or a design that you have, and you pull colors from that image and you create a board out of it. This is called a mood board, and they're great for a lot of things, but generally what they're great for is when you see a design or photograph that's using some really awesome looking colors, you can save that out for later use. It's good for inspiration, it's good for picking colors, and this can be used across all kinds of different design mediums. It can be for social media graphics, it can be for web design, logo design. You can even use this for other things like interior design. So it's a really cool, useful tool. They're great to make. I recommend you try making a couple of them because you'll start understanding some things about color and the way that color works around us. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. First, I'll show you the basics of a mood board, and I can do that with a piece of software called Canva. Now, Canva is free. It's a free application you can use online to create social media graphics. I use it a lot. I teach it, and I really like the software. I believe you should check it out. And if you go to Google and you type in color palette generator, it will bring you to this website here. Now, this is separate from the software, but basically, this allows us to pull in colors from a photograph. So I'm going to go ahead and click try with our demo image here, and you can see what it does. It's going to pull in a demo image, and here's our image, and then it pulls colors from that image. You can see these are all the colors that are being used in that image. Now, it gives us a name of these colors, which is really cool, and then it also gives us a hexadecimal value. That pound sign with the 6 digits underneath is called a hexadecimal code that you can copy and use for all kinds of different applications and software. Now, if we go down, you can see what you can do with something like this. So at the bottom, you see some designs down here, and what has happened is that they've pulled in these colors, and now they're using these colors for these different designs. So you can pull in colors that you see that you really like from somewhere else, and then use those in your own designs also. If we scroll back up to the top, there's a button that says upload another image. So you can go ahead and upload your own image, and I'm going to do that now. Go out and find a photograph that you really like the colors in, such as the one we're looking at, and then upload it to this site. Now, I am going to be using this image here of this house. I really like the colors in it. They have some really nice complementary colors with the yellows and oranges and the blues, and then the browns add a nice feel. And one thing that you can think about is, what are you designing for? So if you're designing, say, for a grocery store, maybe you go find images of gardens or vegetables and you use those specific colors in your design work. It's really going to tie in. If I'm doing something such as a vacation rental or maybe real estate and I'm trying to sell this house, well, I could actually pull these colors in for the design of whatever it is that I'm creating that for. So once you click the upload another image button, you can go ahead and find your image on your computer, and then I'm just going to click the open button. And it's going to do the same thing as it did with the demo image. It's going to pull that image in, and then it's going to find colors of that image. Here you can see we have a chocolate with its hexadecimal value, dark olive green, rosy brown, dark slate gray, and gray. Now, I'm assuming that Canva uses a certain set of colors because they already have them named. I'm not sure how it works, but it's really awesome. And now we can begin using these colors to create our own mood board, which is going to look very similar to what we're looking at here. However, we'll be able to save that out as an image that we can put on our computer, or maybe we can share it on a website like Facebook or Pinterest or something of that nature. Now, another program that will let you do something similar is Adobe Color. Again, this is on the internet. It's a free application, and you can just type in Adobe Color in a Google search box, and it will bring you to this website. Here we have access to different color swatches. We can change the color harmonies and do a bunch of really cool things. But we can also do the same thing that we did with the Canva palettes. So if you click at Import Image at the top left here, you can go ahead and bring in your image. So I'm just going to click and open it into this program. And it essentially does the same thing that the Canva palette generator does. The only difference is we have a little more control with this program, meaning that we can actually move around what colors we want to sample, and then we can adjust those colors later on if we need to. Now, it already picked a pretty good sample, but just to show you, I can click on, say, this blue at the bottom, and I can drag it around, and as I move that color around, you can see it's sampling different colors of this image. Now, it did pick a pretty good set, so we'll just take a look at them here. You can see we have a light blue, a darker blue, a yellow, kind of a tan, and a brown. Those look really good. I might want to sample some other colors. Maybe I don't need that light blue and I would like maybe like a dark brown color. I could go ahead and change that. Once I have that set, I can either save it as a color theme. If you're an Adobe user, you can use this in all your applications like InDesign or Photoshop or Illustrator. Or you can go back and click the color wheel button in the top left-hand corner. When you do, it brings us back to the first screen. However, it's loaded those swatches into this program. Now I have more fine control because I can individually fine tune these colors if I want to. Say I make this brown a little more saturated. I can change all of their different values like the CMYK, the RGB, and so on. And we also have our hexadecimal code at the bottom that we can copy and paste elsewhere. So both of the applications will do the same thing we want. The Adobe Color program will just give us a little more control to change some of those colors, but the Canva program works very easily and is nice to use also, so you might want to use that one instead. Now we are going to use the Canva application to create our mood board. So you're going to have to sign up for an account. Again, it's for free, but you can go ahead and sign up at canva.com. That's www.canva.com. Now you should be loaded with the newest version of Canva, Canva 2.0. They recently changed and we're going to be using the 2.0 version, even though it's the same procedure on 1.0, so don't feel bad if it doesn't look the same. Here we have pre-made templates that we can select for different sizes for things that we need. So the first one is a social media graphic, and you can see its pixel dimensions. If you can read it on the screen, it says 800 pixels by 800 pixels. Then we have a presentation, which is 1920 by 1080. That's actually the size of most HD screens, so that's good for working with full-size images on your screen. We have posters, Facebook covers, Facebook posts, Instagram posts. There is an arrow that we can click on, and we have more options such as a Pinterest graphic, and we can select any one of these templates for wherever we're going to use this graphic. So if you want to share this on Pinterest, go ahead and click the Pinterest graphic. I'm going to go back and I'm just going to pick the social media graphic. It's a square image and most social media platforms can use it, and it's nice and easy to work with. So just go ahead and click on that, and it's going to open up the software of Canva where we can begin designing. Now we have all these different templates on the left that we can choose from. Some are free and some are paid for. But what I want you to do is go ahead and click on the Elements button at the top left-hand corner. And this is going to give us different elements that we can use in our design. And we want to go ahead and select grids. So we're going to go to grids and hit all. And it's going to bring up all of these different grids that we can use for our design. Now, I'll show you how these work in just a moment, but we need to find our grid. So we need to scroll down and you need to find the grid that has one large image at the top and then 5 little images below it. You can choose either this one or you can choose the one that has 4, but because we have 5 colors, we'll work with the one that has 5 for now. So I'm going to go ahead and click this grid here. And when I do, it loads it into our template. And you can see we have one large image and then 5 little smaller images at the bottom. The first thing I want to do is I want to drag in our photo. And this is really easy and really cool. On the left-hand side, you'll see an Uploads button. Go ahead and click on that. And you will be presented with this screen, and we can go ahead and click on Upload an Image. And then we can select our house image, and then we'll hit Open. We'll just give it a minute to upload into Canva. And then once it's ready, you can just click and drag that image into the top portion of our grid here. So go ahead and click on that image, hold down the mouse, you'll see it move, and then once we get into that image, it'll start filling it in. Once it is there, just let go, it'll drop it in there, and the size might actually be a little different than the grid size, and we can adjust that. If you double click on this image, it'll turn gray, and then it'll allow us to either move left or right or up and down depending on the size of the image. So we just want to get it where we like it, and then click on the done button in the top left hand corner. And now we have a nice image for our grid. So let's go ahead and input our colors. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste the hexadecimal value to the images that we have here. I'll show you how to do this, but basically just head on over to either Adobe Color or the Canva color palette program. So for the first one, I'll go ahead and show you it with the Canva color palette generator. So what we want to do is we want to copy this bottom hexadecimal code. Now you can highlight and copy it, or you can just click on the color and Canva allows us to copy it automatically, which is really nice. Once it's copied, you'll see there's a check mark there, so we know it's copied. So let's head back over to the Canva software. And now we want to input this into one of these bottom swatches of the grid at the bottom. So you can change the color background of any of these grids. So click on the first one. Just going to left click that one there. And then at the top, you'll see kind of like a color wheel, and we're going to click on that. And then we can choose any color we want. So for instance, I can click this purple and it'll change it to purple. But we have a specific color we want to use. So let's go ahead and click this plus button here. And then you can see the hexadecimal value at the bottom. So now I can highlight that number. I can right click or shift click or even hit Control V to paste, but we want to go ahead and paste this in. And now it has pasted in that color from the color palette generator, and that color is pulled directly from this image. Let me go ahead and show you how to do this with Adobe Color, and then I'll fill them all automatically since it's the same process. So here's the Adobe Color wheel. Now these colors are going to be a little different because they don't pull them exactly like Canva does, so we'll have to manipulate them a little bit, but it's okay. Let's just go ahead and pick this tan color here. It also has a hexadecimal value that we can copy, and we can hit Control C, or we can right click and go to copy that. And then we're going to do the same thing as before. This time I'm going to put it in this middle swatch because the second one's going to be a dark brown. You can put these in any order that makes sense to you. Maybe you want to do lightest to darkest or from one color to another. It's really up to you, but I'm just showing you the basics of this. So go ahead and click on that color wheel again, hit that plus button. Highlight the hexadecimal code. I'm going to hit Control V. I believe it's probably Command V on a Mac to paste. And then there we go. We have our tan color in. Now go ahead and continue that process until you have all 5 colors in here. So here is my final image with all of the colors. And I did a mix of both the Canva tool and the Adobe tool. Typically I would use one or the other, but I like some colors from each one. So I used them both here. Now, once you have this created, you can go ahead and save this or share it on social media. You can share it on your Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest account, or you can download it and maybe put it in a folder. You can make a bunch of these, and then as you begin designing, you can always reference these later on. So I'll go ahead and show you how you can download these or share them. If you go to the top, there's a publish button with a drop-down box. If I click on that, it gives me a bunch of different options. I can download this, or I can put it on a Facebook page or Twitter page or what have you. Now, to do any of these at the bottom, you have to set up your account, so I'm not going to go into that at this current moment. We'll just go ahead and download it. So if we click on that download button, it'll ask us what kind of file type do we want it to be in. PNG is great for high quality and a more crisper image, but it's a larger file size. The JPG is going to be a smaller file size. It's going to load faster, but it won't be as crisp. And then a PDF, which you probably won't need. So I would just stick with the PNG and then hit the download button, and then Canva will process the image and it'll download it for us. And then once it's done, we can go ahead and just click on that image. Of course, we would want to put it in a folder and name it properly. But there we have our final image with our swatches. And of course, all of these different things could be adjusted in Canva, but that is a very easy way to create a mood board with a free application. They're a lot of fun to make, and I also suggest doing a search for mood boards or color palettes on Pinterest or on Google, because you'll find a lot of these and they are very inspirational and they really get the creative juices flowing when you need to pick colors for your designs.